Hello friends, welcome back to Improve10x. Today we are going to cover another topic which is about final keyword. So as the word suggests, final means no more changes are allowed, and that is applicable for class, method as well as variable. So a final variable is something where the value cannot be changed anymore. A method is said to be final when it cannot be overridden. And a class, when it is final, it cannot be inherited. Today, let us look at one example, which is payment gateway. So we are going to implement a payment gateway functionality where we are going to use final methods, final classes, as well as final variables. Let us dive into coding. We have a new project which is named as final usage, and so let us first discuss what we are going to create here. We are going to create one class which is called payment gateway. So this payment gateway can be thought of as a class that is given to us by a standard authority which controls the payments across the country or internationally as well. Similarly, we are going to implement this payment gateway inside a third-party payment gateway. For example, the third-party payment gateways are something like PayU, PayPal, Paytm, etc. So this standard class is going to be taken by these third-party payment gateways, and they are going to implement it. So this is the example that we are going to look today. Let me go ahead and create one class, which is the payment gateway class. And we are assuming that this payment gateway is given by the standard authority. So here I'm going to write a method, and this must be publicly available for others. So that is the reason I'm putting public access modifier, and I'm going to call this as process payment. In order to process the payment, there are certain steps that are must and should. For example, authentication is the first step. So I am going to write a method which is called authenticate. And the second method is process the transaction. So I will call it as do transaction. And the third one, once the transaction is complete, we can send out a confirmation. So another method which is sending this confirmation out to the user. So as you can see, these three methods must be executed one after the other in order to complete a payment. Also, in order to process a payment, we need some amount, so that I am passing it as amount, and even to do the transaction also we need the amount, so that's the reason I am passing the same amount to do transaction method as well. Now let me go ahead and create these methods. Now here, if we declare this authenticate method as private, it is not inheritable. That is the reason I'm changing the access specifier from private to protected. Similarly, the do transaction as well, I'm creating another method for that, and I am changing the access specifier to protected, because these methods are expected to be implemented by the third-party payment gateway. In this case, PayU, Paytm, etc. And I'm creating the third method also, which is send confirmation, and I'm changing the access specifier to protected. Since the payment gateway only provides a skeleton of what methods are to be present, let's not implement it here. The third-party gateway will take care of these things. Now, if you observe, process payment is a method that must be definitely followed by all the payment gateways. So that is the reason I want to make sure nobody else changes the implementation of this method, even when they inherit this particular class. So that is the reason I am going ahead and declaring this process payment method as final. Create a second class which is called, let's say, PayPal payment gateway. This PayPal payment gateway is expected to extend the payment gateway class. We obviously have to override all the methods that are necessary. So let me go ahead and override all the methods. So I'm selecting send confirmation, do transaction, and authenticate, all the three methods. And instead of calling, there is nothing in the super method, so I'm just going to add some print statements. This class must be used somewhere, like in another module or in the same module for a different purpose. So for that reason, we also want to make sure that nobody changes the implementation of this PayPal payment gateway. That is the reason we are declaring this class as final. So I'm going to declare this as public final class PayPal payment gateway. And once this is done, I'm also going to declare a variable. So I have declared a variable called company name and assigned a value called PayPal. But this is constant across this company. That is the reason I'm declaring this as final variable. I wanted to add this company name in all the logs. So wherever I'm using this print statements, I'm going to add this variable there. I'm adding a main method. And inside this main method, I'm creating an object of PayPal payment gateway. Using this object, I am calling the method, which is process payment. And also I need to send the amount. Now, since our payment gateway demo is ready, let me go ahead and run the application. So as you can see, whenever we call the process payment method, first the authentication method was called, then a transaction for 200 rupees has been made, and finally a confirmation has been sent to the user that a payment has been completed. So this is how we are able to use final variables where we wanted to keep them constant across and we do not want that value to be changed. Similarly, we have declared final methods in payment gateway class where the process payment method must never be overridden. And the PayPal payment gateway class is also declared as final because that must not be inherited and extended by any other class. That is the reason we declare it as final. Let us now answer a few questions about the final variable. Can a final variable be modified? Obviously, the answer is no. Let us see. Inside send confirmation method, I am trying to reassign the company name variable. As you can see, there is a compilation error because we cannot assign a value to a final variable. Next, can a final variable be static? Yes, it can be static. Whenever static variables are also declared as finals, they can be considered as constant. So let us go ahead and look at it. So I'm changing this variable as static. Yes, we have no compilation errors. Now, since this is static, we can access it using the class directly. Next, can a final variable exist without value? Let us go ahead and check it. So I'm removing the assignment, which is PayPal. So just declaration is not possible. Next, can we assign the final value inside a constructor? Interesting. Let me go ahead and create a constructor for this. I've created a default constructor. So inside the default constructor, let me go ahead and assign the value. So as you can see, I have just declared the company name and I'm assigning the value in the constructor. So it's working. So previously what we have seen is like this. So we are declaring the company name, but we are not assigning any value inside the constructor. That is the reason we were getting a compilation error. But now, when we have assigned a value to the final variable in the constructor, the compilation error does not exist. Next, can we change the final value inside the constructor? So that means once a value is assigned to this final variable, again we are reassigning some other value. Once the value for the final variable is given in the constructor, we cannot change the value even though it is inside the constructor. Let's see the next question. Can we use final variable as method parameter? So that means, for example, this double amount which is there, can it be declared as final? It is as simple as that. So let's go ahead and declare it as final. Yes, it is allowed, which means that the amount field cannot be modified inside this method. It is already sent as a final variable. Now let us answer a few questions about the final keyword in a method. Can a method be final? Yes, obviously. We have seen that in the payment gateway class where we declared process payment method as final. Can we override final method? The answer is no. If you observe, whenever we inherited the payment gateway class inside the PayPal payment gateway, as you can see here, if we try to override this particular method, which is process payment, you cannot even see it in the options. So it's not overridable because we declare it as final. Can we use final keyword with overridden method? Let's check it out. So in the PayPal payment gateway class, first let us remove the final keyword with class and let us put that final keyword along with the send confirmation method. Yes, it is allowing because now we have declared this send confirmation as final. So whoever is extending from this class will not be able to override the method. Can an abstract method be final? Obviously, the answer is no, because an abstract method is something where the implementation does not exist and it must be overridable. But if we declare the same method as final, definitely it cannot be overridden. So they both are contradictory. Let's check out that with an example. So here, let me put the send confirmation method as abstract. And of course, we have to declare the class as abstract. Now here, I wanted to use a final keyword. So obviously it is not allowing. It is saying it's a compilation error. And the problem is illegal combination of modifiers, abstract and final. So you definitely cannot declare both keywords together. Can a static method be final? Let's check it out. So I'm creating a new method. So here I wanted to declare this method as final method. So as you can see, it is being highlighted and it says that static method declared final. And as the keyword suggests, first of all, static means it's a member of the class and it can be directly accessed by using the class name. But when we use the final keyword along with a method, it means that it must not be overridden. Next, can a private method be final? Again, it's the same concept. Final means which must not be overridden. But when you say private, obviously this method is accessible within this class. So there is no question of this method being inherited first of all. Next, can an interface method be final? The obvious answer is no, because interface just provides us the skeleton or the declaration of the methods and there is no implementation. And when a method is declared as final, the implementation already exists there. So they both are contradicting. Next, can a constructor be final? First of all, guys, constructors are never inherited. Even when we are inheriting a superclass into a subclass, they can always be called using the super keyword. Let's see. We have this default constructor. So as you can see, there is a compilation error and it is not allowing. Now let's look into questions about final class. Can a class be final? Yes, obviously. We have declared a class as final and used it as well, which in our case is the PayPal payment gateway class. We declare it as final. Can we create object for final class? Yes, definitely. We can declare an object of the final class, and we have done the same in the payment gateway demo. Here we have created an object of the class which is final class. Next, can an abstract class be final? Obviously no. Abstract class itself means that it needs to be inherited or implemented, and final means it cannot be inherited because it is already implemented, so they both are contradictory. Next, can an interface be final? Again, the answer is no, because interface is meant to be implemented by somebody. If it is already final, it doesn't make sense. Can an inner class be final? Inner class is just like another normal class, but which is inside another class. So definitely we can declare an inner class as final. So that's it, guys. We have covered this final keyword extensively, where we spoke about final variables, methods, as well as final classes. If you like our content, please subscribe to our channel. And if you have any questions, please comment in the comment section. Like and share the video. Thank you. Bye.